Thank you, Ainsley. In the wake of the horrific attack in Manchester, England, where ISIS targeted children, Katy Perry says she's got the solution to fight terror. It's love.
I think, the greatest thing that we can do now is just unite as people, as, fan bases, all of it, I think that the greatest thing we can do is just unite and love on each other, and, no barriers, no borders. We all need to just coexist.
No barriers, no borders. And you know what? She's not the only celebrity who feels that way. Justin Timberlake tweeted, "My thoughts and prayers are with all those affected by this horrific act in Manchester. We need to do better. We need to love one another." Miley Cyrus posted this on Instagram. "This must end. No more war, no more innocent lives taken. LOVE." So, would love really work? Let's talk to Sean Parnell. He's a former Army Ranger and the author of Outlaw Platoon, Heroes, Renegades, Infidels, and the Brotherhood of War in Afghanistan. And he's already guffawing from Pittsburgh. What do you make of these celebrities and their prescription for terror?
I mean, it's really easy. It's really easy to say coexist and advocate for open borders when you live in a gated compound surrounded by armed guards and security every day. They basically live in a bulletproof bubble. I mean, the biggest decision that Katy Perry makes every day is whether she's going to wear blue or gold eyeshadow. She is completely out of touch with the lives of ordinary Americans and the threats that we face every day. And she's, furthermore, completely out of touch with what it means and what it takes to defend our freedom in this country.
Maybe what they were referring to is the aftermath. As the families pick up the pieces, sure, the families need the love, not necessarily about how we fight terror.
Sure. I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, unity is definitely important with regards to how we combat terror, but candlelight vigils are useless without an action step, a proactive action step that actually goes after ISIS where they live, in their home countries, targets them, and kills them. And we've got to do that, and we've got to do it now, because if we don't, every time a celebrity rushes out or somebody on the left rushes out and says we need to come together, it basically shows weakness. And anytime you show weakness to a terrorist, it emboldens them to attack more. And what really drives me crazy, Steve, is that the government in Manchester, the police chief in Manchester, he talked about condemning the attack for about a minute, right, and then spent about 30 minutes on the dangers of Islamophobia. Nobody is blaming all of Islam for these attacks. But let's do what's right, and let's start protecting our citizens, and let's start going after the bad guys and killing them where they live.
I think in his comments, the mayor of Manchester also said we got to get back to normal, whatever normal is. But you know what? If normal is where he wants to go back, security services apparently were warned 5 times about this guy who was a ticking time bomb, and nobody stopped him.
Right, and so the whole point of we need to love one another and we need to unite and open borders. Look, it's not working all that well in Europe because they have that policy already. And just let me tell you a quick story. And when I learned that you can't coexist with people like this, 90% of the missions that we did in Afghanistan were humanitarian aid missions where we were bringing food, water, and crayons to children. And the first time that the enemy shot at us, I had guys wounded. I barely made it out alive. I get back to our base. I open up the trunk of our trucks, and I pulled out a box of crayons that had a bullet hole in them.
Oh, my goodness.
And at that moment, I realized that there are people in this world that just want to kill you for who you are and what you stand for. And that is our Western way of life, our Western values, and freedom. And our enemy was willing to kill us. So that to prevent us from bringing crayons and food to children. That evil cannot coexist with the good, peace-loving people of the world. And we, as the United States of America, have a duty and obligation to stamp it out.
Well put. Sean Parnell joining us today from Pittsburgh. Sean, thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you guys for having me.
You bet.